Try not to show you guys butt crack right now, right? Anyways, look how freaking cool this is, right? Yo, welcome back to Urban Street 420. I'm your host 40. Today we're gonna pimp out your clothing without any special tools. However, that's a bit misleading, huh? Because if you have special tools, you could get even crazier with it. But I'm gonna show you how to do it with just some scissors or an X-Acto blade, a Sharpie, and some heat transfer vinyl. This one is white, this one is fluorescent green. I had to explain that because maybe you thought, maybe this is empty or gone or whatever. Anyways, the first shirt that I tried this with was this shirt. And I added these leaves to the sleeves, right? And it's super nice. Like, notice, there's no hardness to it. The vinyl is just on there. It looks good, it feels good, it's easy to wash, etc. Now, when I first did it, I ended up cutting the vinyl out, right? And I used the machine to do this. I used the Scan and Cut CM900. It's not necessarily a cheap machine. I have it already because of art purposes. You're probably not gonna buy one specifically to do this unless you wanted to do it like as a hobby or a business or something like that. Now, here's the thing. I didn't realize that you could actually leave it on the backing. You just have to change your cut settings. In fact, this is the same as this, except this one is cut out. This has this same backing, this sticky, clear backing or whatever on this already, but I didn't realize you could cut the vinyl without cutting the back. Anyways, I figured that out, huh? Now, this video is not about the software, it's not about using the machine, etc. I'm gonna show you some stuff, and here's kind of a sneak peek, right? I'm gonna show you some stuff. You'll notice right here on this shirt, there were a couple problems with it. Number one, I didn't mirror the image, so it's backwards, but number two, there's another issue on that shirt, and I wanted to show it to you. But first things first, I've got two little pieces of heat transfer vinyl. It comes in these tubes that are like this. I think it's 25 centimeter by 1 meter is what these come in. They're like $5, $6. They're not very expensive. And technically all you need is this and an iron. Because once you have the sheet, I cut this with a scissor, now what we could do is we can draw with a Sharpie. I don't know, because I want to do the shirt right here. In fact, I've already done all of the leaves on the front. But if you notice on this sleeve has one hand-done leaf, right? The leaf in the middle was cut by hand, and the leaves on either side were cut with a machine. Let's go to the other camera, huh? Just so you can see this better. So the leaf on the middle is cut by hand, the leaves on the side are cut by a machine. So I have a bunch of these pre-cut leaves right here that I've already done, right? And I'm gonna show you on the other camera. So all these pre-cut leaves right here were cut on the Scan and Cut CM900. I'm gonna put them off to the side. I even have some that were cut with left-on backings. We'll decide which one we'll use, but first things first, because this video is about not using tools or not using an expensive tool. Obviously, the Sharpie's a tool, the scissors are a tool. And I'm thinking, even though everything on this one is green, let's do one in white. So let's skip the fluorescent because I'm gonna use two of the fluorescent on either side and then one white one. Now on this, there's two sides. There's a shiny side and there's a non-shiny side. The shiny side is this clear backing, right? So you could totally draw on the shiny side, no problem. And when you add the heat transfer and you peel that away, any of the Sharpie won't, even if it's on there, it won't be on there because that piece is removed, right? So let's go to the other camera. I'm gonna draw a leaf right here. I think you should be able to see this. Let's point the camera down a little more. There we go. And to draw a leaf, I usually just start with the top part of the leaf and I bring this down about 3/4 of the way. And then the next two leaves, maybe I make them a bit smaller, right? And it's okay if you screw up here, right? Because you just decide what you cut out, what you don't. This stuff that's not, remember the Sharpie is not part of the design, right? So let's say we come up in here, come down. And here's the other thing, like could you use some kind of template? Let's say you printed it on your computer and you had a piece of paper. You could stick the piece of paper to this and then with some tape and then cut it out with some scissors. In fact, there are drawbacks to using scissors as well as an X-Acto blade. One of the drawbacks is if the lines when you're cutting, for example, when I cut into this and I get to one of the corners of the leaf right here, if I don't meet it exactly with the other cut, if there's any excess, like if I cut further than I should have, that will be visible in the transfer, so be aware of that. And simply, just to cut this, let's go to the other camera, I'm going to try to do this. I always struggle when I'm trying to show you on this camera, I have to do something that requires some level of dexterity, right? It's really as easy as that. The reality is it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's go to the other camera. And when I say it doesn't have to be perfect, the only part you really don't want to have is overlapping lines. So if I cut into here and I go all the way into the white, for example, we are going to see that cut in the final transfer, right? But as far as the Sharpie is concerned, that part doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that there's Sharpie here because that will not be transferred to your material, right? So let's go ahead and grab the shirt. And you're probably asking yourself, I've got a cutting board right here, and the reason I have the cutting board was to show you something. I was using this inside the shirt to be a board so it separated the back piece of the shirt from the front piece of the shirt, or the arm, or whatever I was using, right? The reality is with the iron, it ended up warping this, right? So don't use this. This is an art board or a painter's palette right here. You'll notice there's some paint on it. This is the cleanest one I had, but then I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and put wax paper or parchment paper on this. And the reason I put parchment paper on this was just in case there's any paint below, it doesn't transfer. Because when this heats up or whatever, and maybe any paint on the board, it would go into the shirt. We don't want that, right? So, and we probably are not going to use this because on this, well, we will for the bonus part of this video, right? So if you've made it this far, awesome. Stay tuned to the end. We're going to do something cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take right here, right, this other sleeve. And when we take this, I'm going to move this out of the way because I have a piece of cardboard right here. And this is what we're going to use to separate. And let's go to the other camera so I can show you. But what we're looking for is this seam, right? The shoulder seam, because there's a seam on the shirt that comes all the way down like this, and this is how we're going to line up where to put the leaf. So it's on this side of the seam, so it's kind of in the middle of where it should be, right? Now obviously, you could line this up in different ways, and you could put it on to find out exactly where you want to put it, and then maybe you could, you know, put a little piece of tape or something to hold it for a second. We're going to just put this down, this cardboard down in here, right? And one of the reasons we're doing that is to make sure everything is looking good, right? Now, the front of the shirt is on this side, so I probably want to have it more biased on that side, meaning if it's going to lean to one side, then I would rather have it lean to the front side, right? Now, we're going to take our main leaf right here, and we're going to put it somewhere close to the end, right? And then let's grab two other leaves, right? So I have a couple other leaves here. Let's pick a couple cool ones, and we're going to put these on either side of the white leaf that we just cut, just for some difference, just for some fun, right? Now you want to make sure you put the shiny side up here, which I'm doing, and in the bottom is the, let's see, it's actually going to go like this, right? The next thing that we want to do, and I thought I brought it, let me go grab it, is grab a piece of parchment paper to put on top of this. I'll be right back. All right, I got some parchment paper to put on top. Make sure that is this on? It is hot. Oof, it's hot. Make sure this thing is set to almost max. So if you have 10 steps, and you have to experiment with this, right? Put it on step number 8 or 9 or something like that. Maybe not to the highest step. And again, some people have these presses that are specifically for this. They have heat presses, or they have the cry cut thing that you press down, or whatever. We're just using an old-fashioned iron. Ah! I was just joking, but I got kind of close, huh? At least it felt close. Oof, that would have been bad, right? Make it a stupid joke just for the channel, 3rd degree burns, dying in the hospital. Am I being dramatic? Maybe. Anyway, all right, so I just wanted to make sure everything was sitting on top of the cardboard, right? The reality is when we put this parchment paper down, we could move the design. So you need to be careful about that. So let's go to this other camera. Let's make sure you can see. I think you can. I'm going to turn it a little bit. I'm going to put this down while pressing on the center one, right? Like this. It looks like it's good to go. We're going to take the iron, right? Oof. I have to pick up my hand. I didn't plan that out very well. And we're just going to try to drop this on first, just so it's in place. And now I'm just going to move it around, and maybe 10 seconds. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 10 1000. We almost ran out of breath, yeah. I'm just kidding. Because one thing that you may consider is that all of these are different, right? This one keeps coming up. Okay, let's try to figure these out, make sure that these are okay. I'm going to try to take off the backings now. Let me grab my glasses, right? As we screw up this test shirt, and then, you know, what am I going to do, right? We're not going to screw it up. All right, so let's try to find... And this is why it's a good idea to use this machine and leave the backing, because then it's much easier. You'll notice I kind of messed this one up. The settings weren't perfect. But once we do the back, which is the bonus part of the video, we're going to do the back of this shirt. This is cut good, and I'm going to talk about the challenges if you're using one of these cutters. But all right, let's try to get this off, right? And what we're doing is we're looking for a part where this... where the plastic will peel up. And you can see on this video right here, right? The plastic is just peeling up right here. And that's what we wanted. Well, all right, and you need to be careful when you're doing this. Be careful when you pull up. You need to make sure it's attached. And if you're not sure, you can always go back with the heat gun. But this is a timing thing, right? If you do this for too long, for example, what will happen? It will give a problem with the design. Look at this. Let's go to the other camera. You'll see the Sharpie marks are on this, and it's fully removed. We're good to go. I'm going to put this down right here, and let's see if this one is on. It is. You know, every time I make a video, sometimes I'm so intent on it being a great video, I'm focused on too many things. I forgot, huh? This should be with so you could see the color green, because the vinyl is on the back. So that's why it wasn't going. Let's go ahead and apply these two back on, right? I'm going to go ahead, and again, I should have thought of something when it kept coming off on this because it didn't make sense. But anyway, so with these green side up, let's go ahead and grab the parchment paper after we peel this one off. Let's put it on top, making sure that everything looks good. It does. Let's go ahead and iron this. Oh, this threw me for a loop. I made a mistake. Sorry, guys. Anyways, so you do want to make sure the shiny side up, and on this, the shiny side is the side that looks green, right? So, anyways, let's go ahead and remove this. We're going to go ahead and try to take off the plastic. It should come off easily, and oof, I don't know if you saw this on the other camera because I should have cut. It started to come off no problem, but then part of it lifted the design. We just put it back on, do this for another 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Pick this up, and now let's be careful when we lift this up. When I pulled this first part, it started to peel off the rest of the design. So just be careful. Obviously, it's not fully set right now, by the way. Oof, you see that? The vinyl even came up. This is a timing thing, guys. So let's put on the glasses. Let's see if we can get this down, because we still have to press again. And when we press again, it should fix any issues that we just experienced, right? This one should come up a bit easier because I was able to pull from the bottom. That one came up perfect, right? Now, after you've done that and you've gotten them applied to your shirt or your pants or your sweatshirt or your jacket or whatever you're putting on, now you want to put the parchment paper, you want to put this on for like 10, 15 seconds. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 2 1000. I don't even know what I'm doing, yo. Anyways, that should be good. We're going to go ahead and pick this up. And let's go ahead and give it a look, right? That's all you have to do. It's really easy, right? Now, obviously, like when you look at this, let's go to the other camera, huh? Obviously, when you look at this, the ones that were cut out with a machine look better. But one of the things that you probably can tell, right, is look here in the design. You see these extra lines that are coming down the leaves? That's how the cut was, right? So you have to be really careful when you're cutting with a scissor or an X-Acto blade that your lines meet. That like if your cut is going here, they're supposed to cut right here. You don't cut this far even though you were stopping right here. Otherwise it shows. So that's something to be aware of. Now that we have this, I thought, let's do the bonus, right? This was cut with the Scan and Cut CM, and if you guys want a video on that, on how to use the machine, that kind of stuff, we could for sure do it. But there's tons of videos about it on YouTube. I just wanted to show you some basics. Number one, the design needs to be reversed, right? So when we're looking at this, the way it was cut like this, right? Because the vinyl is on this side. It's not on the front side. The front side is this protective sheet, right? There's a couple things I want to show you. Let's go to the other camera. When you look at this, for example, you're going to probably see it. I probably have to find them first, right? You're going to probably see there's like a little speck of white right here. There's a little speck of white. These are things that could be cleaned up, or you could leave it and it will kind of grunge up where that color is, right? So I'm going to leave it because why not? The other thing is, let me grab this shirt right here just to show you. Now notice, the black and pink, the circles should be the same. The reality is, I put the black circle down first, and when I peeled it, I peeled it and it stretched. I should have peeled from each side to make it maintain its shape, or I should have pressed for a shorter period of time. The problem is this pink or the black did not want to adhere to the shirt, so I had to press it longer, and then it was anyway. So hopefully that doesn't happen on this shirt, but let's see. We should fix both issues. Number one, the issue of it not being reversed, because I did reverse it on this cut. And number two, I'm not going to peel too hard. So let's go ahead and grab this wood. We're going to put it inside the shirt, right? And we want to find out where the center is. And how do you find out where the center is? Obviously, you can measure this and do it perfect and whatever. We are going to do it not perfect. We are going to line up the neck part in the top of this board, right? And I'm going to feel around. Here's the neck. Here's where the tag is, right? And that's what I'm going to put in the center of this board is the tag. Now, one thing that I'm doing, see how I'm holding it? I'm holding the piece of wood in there, right? And I'm going to stretch the shirt right here. Now, how far down on the back of the shirt? Maybe, where's our ruler? I had a ruler. I really did. Anyways, what I was going to do is measure a certain distance down from the top, right? I think that this is good, even. One thing you might want to do is take your iron and iron wherever this is going to go, because it will flatten out the shirt, etc. So somewhere around here, let's figure out how far from the top, maybe that far, more or less, right? And that's kind of the middle, something like that. This is not going to be lined up 100% perfectly, so keep that in mind, but I'm not that worried about it, right? Again, this is like taking a previous shirt. I really like this black leaf shirt. It fits really well on me, I think, and that's why I'm adding this stuff, because the lettering on the front is fading and cracking and stuff, and I didn't want to throw the shirt away, so this is giving me a reason not to throw it away. So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and take this piece of parchment paper, and one thing that you'll notice, let's go to the other camera, is it doesn't cover the full design. That's fine, and that's on purpose, by the way, because the reality is, I wanted to show you what do you do if it doesn't cover the whole design. We're going to put this on, and we're going to count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. All right, and what I'm trying to do is mostly I want these edges to really be on there, right? So I'm pressing a little bit, adding a little bit of pressure. That looks good. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and let's do the other side. Putting a little bit of pressure. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Whoa, 1,000. Anyways, we don't really need to count. The point is that when I go ahead and I start to peel this up, if I notice it's not peeling up easily, then let's add more time, right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to start to peel this up. And one of the things that you probably are seeing is, look, there we go. It released. That was good. So I'm just going to come around this, and what I'm going to do, because lesson learned from the last one, is that I didn't come from every angle. I mean, that sounds dirty, right? I don't want to stretch this just from one side, because that's how I screwed up the other circle on the other one, is I stretched it from one side only. This time I'm pulling just from the corners, and this is looking good. I think we'll be all right. There we go. There we go. Hopefully that's maintained its shape, right? Because that kind of was the issue before, is that when I did this, it didn't maintain its shape. This looks kind of good. It doesn't look perfectly set in the center, so let's put this down real quick. Let's make sure that center part is really is connected to the shirt, because it kind of felt like it was separated a bit. So we're gonna do that. We'll pick this up. That looks a bit better, right? Now we're gonna take this, and how do you line it up? I'm gonna line it up by eye, right? So let's go back to the other camera. Let's come over here. Let's put on my glasses, because for sure I need them. And let's try to line this bad boy up. There should be a small border around everywhere in pink, something like that. Now, remember, that may not have held the circle, the pink circle may be slightly distorted because of when we were peeling this off, right? If you're not using an iron and you're using a proper heat press, then probably you will have less issues because you can do it for less. I can't control the I can control the temperature on this, but it's not precise. On those heat presses, you could dial in the perfect temperature, and then you could do it for 3 seconds, for whatever is the exact time that you need with your press, and this will work way better. But when you're using just an iron like this, you're at the mercy of the iron. Let's go ahead and take this iron, and let's go ahead and apply the next part. We're gonna, again, try to do this for like 5-6 seconds on each little part, then we'll move on, because remember, we're still doing another press once we peel this off with just the design on the shirt and no protective layer, right? All right, let's go ahead and check to see where we're at, see if it will release. And I'm gonna slowly start picking up this side. Now, this design is much more intricate than the pink, because the pink was just a circle. So you need to be careful. You need to be, in fact, let's do it for another couple seconds, right? We don't want to take any chance. But here's the thing, right? The reality is this is kind of like a dance, because you're looking for a perfect timing, right? If you do it too much, then it's hard to remove this sheet, which also could cause problems. So it is what it is, right? Unless you want to invest in one of these, what do you call it? Unless you want to invest in one of these heat presses. My brain. Anyways, I was pretty excited to show you guys this, because this is something super easy to do. You could really pimp out your shirts with all kinds of designs. And here's the thing. I was thinking about this also, is that you know what we could do? And again, it depends if you guys are interested, but if you guys like the idea, I could sell these on the website, right? Now, they would come with some kind of backing, maybe like 5 or 6 of them, 5 or 6 large ones for $10, or maybe a combination of large and small, or I don't know, right? If you guys are interested in that, put it in the comments, and I'll make it available, because I do have a machine, I can cut them out, etc. But anyways, let's look what this looks. Now, obviously, this is trash. I'm going to put it over here with the other one. Let's move this out of the way, and then let's look at this shirt, right? Which was on its oh, we forgot to do something, guys. Now we have this design here. Let's take this back, and let's again, now we need like 15 seconds press, right? And the reason that we're doing it again in the final step is this is the one that really locks it in, right? The first two are to get the designs down, because you can layer this, right? You can layer up to 4 times. However, if your heat transfer vinyl has texture, or if it's has glitter or any of that stuff, number one, make sure that's the top layer. Do not put a layer of like glitter vinyl and then something on top of it. It will not adhere to itself. There are also, not all heat transfer vinyl is the same. Even these two, the white one and the pink one, are different, I don't know, they're different strengths that they adhere to. They're for sure different on the machine. When you cut, for example, on the machine, you set a different setting for each of the colors, because the white one is a bit more durable, whereas the pink is a little more flaky. In fact, I was going to do this design in the reverse, where I did do it in the reverse, where pink was the background or the foreground color. But the reality was, I think that I didn't realize the different settings also on that, right? Because black acts more like white as far as the heat transfer vinyl is concerned, right? So anyways, here we are, a couple more seconds, and we'll call it good to go. Now, when you first watch this, turn your clothes inside out, right? And maybe your heat transfer vinyl has some instructions. Again, not all of them are made the same. So whatever brand you buy, read the back, see what it says. It might even tell you a temperature for doing this. But that's only going to work if you have one of those those heat presses, right? And again, this is just a bonus. You don't have to do this. You could use scissors, X-Acto blade, etc. You still do something cool. Will it be as cool as what you could do with the machine? For sure not. But anyways, the point is you can still pimp out your clothes for on the cheap. It's fun. It's easy. Let's go ahead and pick this up. Put it right there. Let me show you what the shirt looks like. Now, mind you, all this said, and you've seen me wear this shirt many times, is it said Blackleaf. You can see the letter is starting to crack. The shirt's getting older. Look how pimped out the shirt looks. I'm going to go change. I'm going to put it on for the video. I'll see you guys in a second, baby. All right, so here we have it. And you're not seeing the back, although I should record myself doing a twirl or something. I don't know, but I'm going to turn around, show you the back. But just real quick, this feels as part of the shirt. It doesn't feel separate. It doesn't feel like there's ink on the shirt. It doesn't feel like, yes, the texture of the vinyl feels smooth, right? You notice that, but then like, I don't know if I'm like, oh baby. The reality is it just feels part of the shirt. This is super easy to do. And like I said, this middle green leaf right here, this middle white leaf right here, we're done with scissors and they look great, all right? Let me turn to the side. Let's model properly, right? I'm connected to the mic. I should grab it. Where is it? Where is it? Put it in my pocket. So here it is on this side. Let's go ahead and turn right here. Here it is on this side, right? And I hope I'm in perfect view for the camera. Anyways, here's the back, huh? Try not to show you guys butt crack right now, right? Anyways, look how freaking cool this is, right? I hope you guys like this video. If you would like to learn how to use something like a scan and cut, I can show you. It comes with pretty simple to use software. You basically have to learn how to do stuff with silhouette images, meaning, you know, one color, or you could use multiple colors. Here's the thing, right? Like I said, obviously you can layer up to 4 times. Here's the other thing, right? You don't have to always layer. Like, for example, it would be very difficult to line this up if these were not layered, meaning that this has a black bottom circle by itself, and then I put the pink on top. It would be very difficult to have the black just be where the black shows, right? Because in order to do that and line it up, there would probably be spaces that moved or something that's shown through. But that being said, let's say this was a character, or let's say that maybe this had some lightning bolts coming off or whatever, and the lightning bolts were separate. Then you could just put this one down and then do the lightning bolts afterward. And I don't know why I say lightning bolts, but anyways, the point is you could do multiple different things. If I wanted to write the words Blackleaf, I could do that also. Each individual letter could be separate, or they could all be on a sheet like this. Like this has 2 of them, right? Like this has 2 of them. You could do all the words and then you apply it, etc., right? The options are endless, and the reality is these are so cheap. Again, $5, $6, $7 or whatever. And then here's the other thing, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but all the green is fluorescent. Look how it looks, super cool. Also in the back, right? Let's see. I don't know if this is gonna point correctly. My butt crack's about to show, baby. Oof. Anyway, so you see, I don't know how well you could see that, but the point is that the pink and the green are fluorescent, which is pretty cool. Anyways, guys, gals, everybody, like I said, if you'd like to learn how to use the scan and cut, they don't even make the one I have anymore. I bought it like 8 years ago or something. But if you'd like to learn how to do that part, let me know, put it in the comments. Or if you'd like to see me do a design that's a bit more intricate that I cut out by hand or with an X-Acto blade or something like that, we can do that as well. Just let me know. I hope you guys have a good weekend. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, baby. Till next time. I'm out!